Hello, everyone. Very excited today. We have with us Sam Snow, the CEO of TJ Snow and Company, and also the president of P21WWUG, the P21 Worldwide User Group. We are going to learn all about P21 user groups, what it does, and why a user group. Sam, thank you so much for joining us.
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Sam, tell us about the user group. You have been a part of the P21 user group for a very long time now, and now you're the president of the P21 user group as well. Thanks for all the great work you're doing. For beginners out there, let's say I'm new to the Profit 21 software. What is the user group?
Very simple. The user group is an independent organization from Epicor. We are a bunch of users who are using the Profit 21 software and encouraging each other to use it better and be more successful with the software. In addition, we encourage Epicor to serve us better. And so all of that is what we do. We do that through a couple of things. We have online forums where people are able to discuss the software. We conduct webinars throughout the year that do training. We do a user conference, and we can talk about that more. And then we also encourage local groups that again meet and talk about the Profit 21 software.
So the local groups are very active, which I've seen. We're also part of the P21 Lake Erie user group. So you guys do a great job. How was this user group created? Do you know the history of it?
I do. Profit 21, early in the days of the product, users were coming together. And at that point, the Profit 21 product was not very feature complete. And so the first user group meetings were mostly revolving around, okay, what features do we want them to add to the product first? Profit 21, the company at that time, had a lot of experience with the ERP systems, but they were writing a brand new product from scratch. And so they didn't have everything available at first. So a lot of the first meetings, they were brainstorming features, they were voting on features, and it grew from that phase, eventually went away and transitioned more to concentrating on how can we use the software that we have better. So that's a lot of what we focus on now.
So it's more like a voice of the customer in terms of what the customer needs. Epicor is able to interact with you and get the needs and wants and build it on the product or listen to you?
Yes, it's not the only voice of the customer that Epicor listens to, but we are a big influencer to them. And then we're also a resource to the users. If a user is having trouble with interacting with Epicor or trouble with the software and they don't know, they're not getting anywhere with support and they don't know where to go, we know people inside of Epicor and are able to reach out on their behalf and make the connections so that they're able to get their issue resolved.
So you guys are independent of Epicor. So you run your own organization. So it's set up, you have a P&L, and I see in the user group meetings, you present the budgets, the P&L, the earnings, how much you're spending on conferences and everything. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so we that was one of the key things that the founders of the group, they looked at other user groups in the past, and they really wanted the users to be in control and have the flexibility to shape the group to what fit the group best. So we try to operate in a very lean fashion. We have one full-time employee. If you've met Cheryl, she's a fantastic resource for all the users, but also for us. As board members, we're all members ourselves who work for companies that run Profit 21, and we're all volunteers. So we don't get compensated for doing this. We're doing it because we want the group to be successful. And so we try to keep membership dues as low as we reasonably can. And we try the user conference that we put on, we try to keep the cost for that as low as we reasonably can so that the most number of users are able to participate.
We love Cheryl Richardson. She does an awesome job. And it's actually a great gift that she is a part of the P21 user group, or she's full-time with the user group. Yeah.
Yes, she's a fantastic resource and really has the user's best interest in mind, which is fantastic.
You also talked about running conferences, doing a lot of online courses. One thing I find fascinating with respect to user groups is, it's a great resource. Let's say, like you said, if people are searching for something, they go online. You also conduct a lot of webinars, so people can get their questions answered, or they're stuck with something using Profit 21, or they need a particular vendor to do this to solve the problem. They ask a question, and that works.
It is. our online forums, they're not a substitute for the help with Profit 21. We can't make fixes to the software. We can't do things like that. But there are a lot of questions where people have a more general question or questions about using the software. That's where getting those answers from other people who use the software, and not just one person, but potentially multiple people, is very valuable. And they get that through the forums. They get that through the local groups and through the conference interactions. So again, we try to put content out there that we would want to see. And part of that is looking at all of the different vendors that interact with Profit 21 or could interact with Profit 21. And our philosophy to that is that we want users to have choices. So if you know e-commerce websites very well, we want people to be able to know what the options are, research them, and choose the one that's the best fit for their company so that they will be the most successful.
So you're the CEO of TJ Snow and Company, and you're also the president of the P21WWUG. How do you find time to balance both? You spend a lot of time with the user group as well, and thank you for doing that. I've heard a lot of people say a lot of great things, and we have also experienced it firsthand. So thank you for the great work you're doing. How do you find time?
Oh, you're welcome. Well, the way I find time is that Cheryl allows us as board members to have the time. It takes care of a lot of the day-to-day things, so we don't have to worry about that. We meet as a board once a week. We have a teleconference, spend about 30 minutes to an hour together. And then for weeks like this week, we spend a lot of time together, but we probably would have been coming to insights anyway, so it works out. But really the key is having somebody like Cheryl who is able to keep the day-to-day running well. That's how we're able to do our real jobs and then also contribute to the user group. So the other part is, as a board, we really operate where we cover for each other. If things are busy for me, someone else can step up, and I'm the president, but yet we really operate as a team, as a board. So it's not as much about the title, it's more about just getting the job done.
If there's another software product company out there and they want to create a user group, what advice would you give them?
Find some users who are passionate about the product, and that's a good place to start. And that's how, when we've looked at local user groups, the local user groups are sponsored by the Profit 21 Worldwide User Group, but they are operated independently. They have their own bank account. They have their own. We're set up as a 501c6, which is a non-charitable nonprofit. But again, they operate the local groups. They operate independently. We do some encouragement to help get them started and give them resources throughout the year, but they make their own decisions. And the key to getting those started has been to get a group of passionate users together in one place, see if they say, hey, this was worthwhile after they meet initially. If so, set up the next meeting. It really starts with one user who's interested in making it happen, picking a day and a time and a place to actually conduct the meeting, and then inviting a bunch of people to come, and then it grows from there.
Get a bunch of passionate users. Great advice. Tell us about the conference you're running.
Right. So we have our Epicor Insights is fantastic. We run a user conference that has for Profit 21. It's a little bit different in that Profit 21 is the only product there. So you sit down at lunch, you sit down at breakfast, and the person you're sitting with, they're also running Profit 21 guaranteed. The classes are different in that they are mostly taught by users. And so that's a different perspective. You hear the perspective here, you hear the perspective from the subject matter experts who helped design and write the software, and that's fantastic. You hear a slightly different perspective from the users who are using the software every day. And so those are complementary, but really different perspectives. And the last part that's different is the vendors that are there. We have a much larger group of third-party vendors that are attending Connect. Again, just it gives options for people to be able to see what's the best fit for them.
When is the conference happening and where is it happening?
Yes, so we try to move the conference around. Again, it's called Connect 2024. We will be in Chicago in August, and you can find out more information at connect2024.p21WWUG.org.
Yeah, we love the Connect conference. We have been associated with it for over 7 or 8 years now. in a row. And thank you for doing that. And, we love the Connect conference so much that just adjacent to the conference, we started doing our own little user group meeting called the Roundup, the DCKAP Roundup. This year, we are doing it at the Alder Planetarium in Chicago, Illinois. It's on August 27th, Tuesday. But Sam, thank you so much. I really enjoyed chatting with you, and thanks for educating us on the user group. The users benefit a lot from the P21WWUG. You guys do a great job. Not just the users, even vendors love the group. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.